What's up, visualites? Welcome back to my channel, and for today's video is I'm going to discuss to you one type or category of parts of speech. And maybe you're wondering what is parts of speech or what is it I'm going to discuss. If it's your first time to hear those words, you definitely click the right video. And if you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to click subscribe, hit the notification bell for you to be updated with my posts. Do share this video and comment down everything you want me to read. What are we waiting for? Let's get straight into the video. Now, in the introduction part, we have said parts of speech. You definitely heard it right. But what is parts of speech, by the way? Parts of speech indicates how the word functions in meaning as well as grammatically within the sentence. An individual word can function as more than one parts of speech when used in different circumstances. So what does it mean? Let's just compare parts of speech when building a house. Parts of speech can also be a building blocks of the language, and so in building a house too. Or it can be a puzzle pieces. Let's just say we want to build a house. What do we use? We use concrete to make foundation or bases. We use bricks to make walls. We use window frames to make windows. We use door frames to make doorways. We use cement to join them all together. And so the parts of speech, each part has its function, and that function is the one we need to learn in order for us to make something out of it. Now, parts of speech consists of 8 categories, which are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Now, those 8 might sound confusing and sounds the same with each other, but if you will delve deeper with each of it, you will know its function. So why is parts of speech important to learn? Simply because it is parts of speech, it is part of our daily conversation, and so part of our daily routine. It is essential to learn in order for us to know the correct definition of a word when used in a different situation, as well as to understand a certain sentence, and you'll be able to construct a good sentence as well. With that, I'm gonna give you an example. The word work can function as noun and verb, which are definitely noun and verb are parts of speech. For the first sentence, my work is easy. Work functions as noun because noun talks about what is being talked about in a sentence. It can be a place, thing, idea, event, name, or many more. While for the second sentence, I work in Paris, which work functions as verb because verb talks about the state or being or an action. So if you haven't know what is parts of speech, you will definitely be confused and lead to a different meaning. And to know what parts of speech a word falls into, you need to look the word at itself and also to its meaning, position, and use in a sentence. Is parts of speech clear now? Its meaning, categories, and function? I bet you do. Now, I mentioned earlier about noun and verb, which are categories of parts of speech. But in this video, I will deeply discuss to you about another category of parts of speech, which is adjective. What is adjective? Is it really important? Can you imagine a world without adjective? How could we describe things without adjective? How could we describe a white egg or a green bottle without adjective? You might always probably hear the word adjective, 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 without you realizing that adjective gives spices not to your dish, but to your speech. In what sense? Because adjective are words that describe, identify, and define the quantities and qualities or state of being of nouns and pronouns. So what does it mean? Adjective tells us about nouns and pronouns, answering the questions which one, what kind, how many, and so on and so forth. It is known as describing words since it came from the word describe or describing words. It talks about everything about the nouns and pronouns. Words like beautiful, sweet, ugly, noisy, cruel, bad, pretty are all examples of adjective, but those just are some examples of adjective in your basic years. But if you're in a tertiary level, you might as well use advanced words to add depth or interest to your sentence. For example, instead of using beautiful, use alluring. Instead of using words noisy, use turbulent. But just make sure that all those words you're using are appropriate to your sentence. And did you know that numbers can also be an adjective? numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4 are also an adjective. It is called quantitative or number adjective, but we'll talk about later about the different types of adjective. But first, I'm gonna talk about descriptive adjective. Descriptive adjectives are probably what you think of when you hear the word adjectives. Why?
Because descriptive adjectives are used to describe nouns and pronouns, since adjective describes and is descriptive adjectives.
Words such as beautiful, smart, ugly, noisy, and so on and so forth are descriptive adjectives because they add information or qualities to the word they are modifying. Now notice these sentences. The COVID-19 is a disease. Can you spot the adjective? Definitely not, because there is no adjective in that sentence. It's just stated a fact and there is no adjective. But when I say the COVID-19 is an infectious disease, there you go. There is now an adjective. What is an adjective? The infectious. And it says that the COVID-19 is a disease that can be transmitted to organisms and environment, or it can be contagious. Now the word infectious serves as adjective that modifies the noun disease. Now you know what is adjective. Now, way back to I said earlier that numbers can also be adjectives, we're not talking about quantitative adjective, since quantitative adjective describes the quantity of something, and quantity answers the questions how much and how many. You are definitely counting. For example, the COVID-19 have killed almost 2 million people in the world, so what is the quantitative adjective there? Definitely the 2 million because it says about the number or amount the COVID-19 have killed. The third type of adjective is the most common type of adjective that probably been taught to you in your early years but not being elaborated. And words such as these, that, these, those are demonstrative adjectives. What is demonstrative adjective? It simply describes which noun or pronoun you are referring to. And always come before the word they are modifying. This is used to refer to a single noun and is close to you. For example, this ball pen. Definitely, it is a singular because it is only one and it is close to me. That is used to refer to a singular noun but far from you. For example, that ball pen. That because that is only one and it is far from me. This is used to refer to plural nouns and are close to you. For example, these ball pens. These because these are plurals. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is close to me. And lastly, those is used to refer to plural nouns and are far from you. For example, those ball pens. Those because those are plural and are far from me. Let's now go on to other type of adjective, which is possessive adjective.
Possessive adjective is used when describing something to whom it belongs, or ownership.
My, his, her, their, your, our are possessive adjective. My is used to refer to something that belongs to me or to myself, while his is used to refer to something that belongs to a male or to a boy, and her is used to refer to something that belongs to a girl or a female, while their is belong to a group that you're not included, while our is belong to a group that you're definitely included, while your is used to refer to something that you are talking to. For example, when I ask you, whose phone is this? We may answer, this is his phone, this is her phone, this is our phone, this is my phone, or this is their phone. We use possessive adjective to determine who belongs this phone, who belongs something. Moving on to the next is the interrogative adjective. The word interrogate meaning it asks question, and it always followed by a noun or pronoun and it forms question. For example of question is, which are those? Which, what, whose are example of interrogative adjectives. Now, which is used to make choices between options. For example, which COVID vaccine will our country get to cure COVID-19? You are referring to choices. You are making choices between options. Here we use which, while what is used to make choice in general. For example, what gift do you want? You are not referring to something, you are referring to a general, so you are using what. And finally, whose is used to as something that belongs to. For example, whose bag is this? You are asking for someone who owns the bag. Now, be careful with the words who and how since they are also asking questions. They are not adjectives because they are not modifying nouns. We cannot say who tumbler is this or say whose tumbler is this. So, tumbler is a noun and being modified by whose. So, whose is an adjective. Also, which, what, and whose are considered adjectives if they are immediately followed by a noun or pronoun. For example, which bag is cute? Bag is noun and which is adjective because it definitely followed by a noun. But we cannot say which is the cute bag because which is not adjective in the second sentence. Now moving on with the other type of adjectives is the distributive adjectives. What is distributive adjective?
Distributive adjectives describe specific members out of a group. These adjectives are used to single out one or more individual items or people, which means the act of sharing something out among a number of recipients or giving out.
Some of the most common distributive adjectives are each, every, either, neither, and any.
Each is for every single one of a group and used to speak about group members individually. Every is for every single one of a group and used to make generalizations. Either is for one between a choice of two. Neither is not one or the other between a choice of two. And any is for one or some things out of any number of choices.
These adjectives are always followed by a noun or pronoun they are modifying. Example, every child has its own story. And moving on to the last type of adjectives is the articles. Yes, articles are also adjective and they also have its own parts of speech. What is articles? Articles are used to describe which noun you are referring to. A, and the are examples of articles. So what are the difference between those three? A is used for singular and general items, while an is used for singular and general items but used before a word that starts with vowel. For example, an apple. Apple starts with letter A and A is a vowel, while the is used for the word that is singular or plural but is specific items. Now quick tip, when you're referring to something that is general, use the word a or an. While if you're referring to a specific item, use the. For example, when you say a lipstick or the lipstick, when you say a lipstick, you're referring to any brand of lipstick in the world. While if you're saying the lipstick, you're generally referring specifically to a specific brand of lipstick. So there's a confusion. Now we have learned the types of adjective and now let's go on to other one that you should know. We typically say you are beautiful. Like this is the common Filipino lines when we see something pleasing to the eye. But we saw another word that is more beautiful. So we don't usually say you're beautifuler or you're most beautifulest. That isn't right. That's wrong. We add more on or most to the word. Example, you are beautiful but you are more beautiful or you are the most beautiful. So with that sense, that is the job of degree of comparison. Degree of comparison change the form of adjective or adjective change in form when they show comparison. Degrees of comparison comes in three forms which are positive, comparative, and superlative. Now first is the positive degree. An adjective is in positive degree when it doesn't show any comparison. It's in the simplest form. For example, adjectives such as fast, cute, smart, bold, bright, they are just in simple form. There is no comparison. Now, second one is comparative degree. It is used when two or more nouns and pronouns are being compared, but it is usually the most crucial for everybody when using comparative degree. Now, there are rules in using comparative degree. For every one syllable word, we will just add the suffix er or r. When we're gonna do that? If the word is ending in e, we will just add r. But if the word is not ending in e, we will just add er. For example, the word bright, it is not ending in e, so we will just add er. So bright becomes brighter, cold becomes colder. While the word is ending in e, we will just add r. For example, brave becomes braver, large becomes larger, and many more. For two syllables adjectives that is ending in y, replace y with ier. For example, costly. Costly. Costly is typically two syllable adjectives and it is ending in y. So the y will be transformed in ier to become costlier. Costly becomes costlier. Heavy becomes heavier. happy becomes happier and easy becomes easier. See the difference? Now for multi-syllable words or words that containing 3 or more syllables, we're not gonna use the transformation. Like, we're not gonna transform the spelling. We're just gonna add the word more. As I have said earlier, beautiful will not become beautifuler, but rather it will become more beautiful. We're just gonna add the word more. Another example such as difficult will be more difficult. Courageous will be more courageous since those words are containing 3 or more syllables. We are now done with positive degree and comparative degree. We will now go on to the last degree, which is superlative degree. Superlative degree is used when 2 or nouns and pronouns are being compared and showing the highest degree of quality. Like comparative degree, superlative degree also has its own root. When using superlative degree for every one syllable word, you will add est as the suffix and st if the word is ending in e. For example, the word cute will be cutest as cute is ending in e, while bright will become brightest because it is not ending in e, so we just add est. For every 2 syllable words and ending in y, replace y and add iest. For example, heavy will become heaviest, happy will become happiest, easy will become easiest, and costly will become costliest. And finally, for the multi-syllable words or words that containing 3 or more syllables, we will just add the word most. Beautiful will become most beautiful, courageous will become most courageous, and outrageous will become most outrageous. Now, when you're using article with superlative degree, we're not definitely using a or an, rather we're using the. For example, the coolest guy, definitely the coolest is the superlative degree of cool, so we're using the as its article. And using the as its article, it indicates that you're talking to a specific items in superlative degree. Now, we're done with types of adjectives and degree of comparison. Now, we will now move forward to other things you know about adjectives, and it is the order of adjectives. Now, there is an order of adjective if there is an adjectives in a sentence, meaning there's 2 or more adjectives in a sentence.
When more than one adjective comes before a noun, the adjective are normally in a particular order. First is the quantity or number, second is quality or opinion, third is size, fourth age, fifth shape, sixth color, seventh proper adjective, eighth is purpose, lastly the noun.
So for today's video, we discuss about parts of speech, its meaning, use, form, and also its example. And also we discuss about its category and adjective as its one category. We also discuss about types of adjective, degree of comparison, and the order of adjectives. Now if you have any questions, don't forget to ask me and I will answer that on my next step. Don't forget to please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment down below anything you want me to